You in Florida? Hey, Saqib. How are you? Really nice to see you in this part of the world, instead of just the Discord part. Sorry, I keep on wiggling this around, trying to get it. Alright, I think we can light the fire now. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Power's out from the hurricane currently. Gosh. But you still have internet. And you still have battery power on your phone. And you're using your battery power to hang out with me? You must not be concerned that the power's going to be out for long. Or you have a really big battery pack. Oh, the storms. We're going to read today about a hurricane. We are. We're going to get there. But first we have to do Shema. I don't know if I can show it to you. Can I show it to you? Yes, I can. A former student of mine sent me this chime. I got it in the mail yesterday, and it made me feel really happy. I like gifts. Good morning, Queen. You know, I'm not particularly excited for Halloween. Halloween is not a holiday that has ever really resonated with me. I don't really know why. I could give you some sort of explanation of well, I like dressing up, but when I dress up, it's more serious. I don't like the idea of just having an absurdist costume that you wear one day a year, right? The costumes that I wear every day, right? This is my performance. This is my costume for you. It's not the real me, but nonetheless, it's a version of me that I care about very deeply, that I want to present very regularly. There's no one that I would want to dress up as. I don't know, I guess I'd love to go to a Halloween party, but my social circumstances are just not. I don't know. It's hard for me to understand how I could realistically incorporate that holiday into my life. In the same way that people were asking me earlier, are you celebrating Rosh Hashanah? It's well, no, right? Holidays, I wish I had more holidays in my life, that's for sure. But I don't, for a number of reasons, and I accept that for now. I accept that for now, and I live the life that I have, and enjoy it to the best that I can. Shema Yisrael, Asher Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Vahafta et anat Elohecha ובכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך Avicharu hadvarim haele asher nachim mitzavcha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'vitecha v'lechtecha havaderech uv'shachvecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam le'ohot al yadecha avichayu letotafot b'neinecha וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובהישארך וחיה כי הביאך אלוהיך אל הארץ אשר נשבע לאבותיך לאברהם ליצחק וליעקב לתת לך ערים גדולות וטובות אשר לא בנית ובתים מלאים כל טובה אשר למילאת וברות עצובים אשר לא עשת וקרבים וזיתים אשר לא נתת והלכת ושבעת הישמר לך פן תשכח את יהוה אשר תשכח מארץ מצרים מבית Avadim. I'm glad that this stream makes you feel safe, Jingru. I'm really glad about that, right? Like, I do want to be offering a service to you all in this world, in this community, and I do appreciate the reinforcement that it is indeed valuable for you. Hebrew is the language we were just praying in. Shema Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Listen, Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, and Yahweh. All those gods, all those syllables, those various ways that we might make sound in our mouth. All of it comes from the same source. All of it is one. Yahweh Echad. I'm doing all right today, Jingru. Could be better, could be worse. There's COVID in my house. My partner's very sick. But I'm doing fine. So we'll see. I'll let you know if I get real sick or not. Yeah, as I get older and find out the history of holidays, I walk away from most. I would agree with that. Like, particularly the standard American holidays, I'm not particularly excited about Thanksgiving either. We do celebrate Passover in my household, although it's a very different Passover than what most people celebrate. We have long seders where we read stuff like this. We read pre-biblical texts or sections from the Torah that elucidate and highlight xenophobia and ethnic exceptionalism in order to remind ourselves where our traditions come from. I don't know. The primary holiday that I celebrate is this one, right? This here, right? This daily celebration that we do with one another here, right? Like, I suppose it's not a holy day if it's every day, but it should be, right? Like, I try to bring what is sacred, what is meaningful, what has weight into every day of my life. I try not to reserve it for special days, although obviously there is a place for special days. I celebrate Sabbath, Shabbat. I cook Shabbat dinner for my community every week. There's a video about that I posted earlier in the summer. You can check that out if you look in my video archive. But yeah, most of the holidays I celebrate are simple and repetitive, right? They're more like ritual than exceptional, special days. So it goes, right? I mean, I guess that was what I was bemoaning earlier. Like, my life is extremely constant. And there's comfort in that, but sometimes I do wish there was more excitement. But, you know, I've got a big, long project on my plate. I'm working on my dissertation, and every day I just chip away at it until it's done, and it won't be done for another year or so. And that means for another year or so I won't have terribly much excitement in my life. But it's okay. It's okay. Because I get to live this life. Tokyo, I live on a commune in New York State in the mountains, on a farm. We grow a lot of food, and a very tight-knit community, rather insulated, rather isolated, but we take care of one another pretty good. Yeah. So, maybe we should continue to read this story, this flood story. Who was talking about hurricanes? Zakiv and Freedom. You were both talking about hurricanes. Well, here we have a storm story. Storm story from the story of Atrahasis. Enki said, "You should build an ark, because there's going to be a flood." So Atrahasis built an ark, and now the flood is going to come. Growing food indoors in Ohio in the winter. Don't hold your breath, Sierra. Don't expect to get much food. You can plant some in planters and put it in the windowsill, and maybe you'll get a crop. You could probably grow kale inside, maybe, or lettuce. You have to invest in grow lights, and obviously you can have indoor growing operations. People grow food inside all the time, but it takes a lot of tech and a lot of energy. Casually, if all you have is window light, your plants are gonna have some difficulty. That doesn't mean you shouldn't try. The storm surged, roared like a charging, bellowing bull. The wind sounded like a howling ass in the wilderness. Thick dark enveloped the entire earth. The sun was not seen. The people became like white sheep, offering to the gods. Every one of them was consumed by the turbulent purge. Even the gods were alarmed by the full force of the flood. They retreated to the safety of the highest heaven of Anu. They were cowered like dogs from the crash of the deluge. The flood surge wreaked havoc, was raging out of control. Anu lost his mind. The gods, his sons, shook him. The lips of the great mother goddess Nintu were salty. All the gods, the Anuna, were left hungry and thirsty. The divine midwife, wise mummy, gazed out and cried, "Bring sunlight back so that they might see. How could I, within the very assembly of the gods, how could I ever have consented to their destruction? Eliel has a callous enough nature to command this evil. He should have withdrawn that command, like Tiruru. They lash out with anguished curses directed at me. Now they have become like white lambs of sacrifice, beyond my control. For how could I live with this loss? My busy din upon the earth has been reduced to silence. What must I do? Must I hide myself beyond the sky? To live evermore in a cloister, cut off from my kith? With what reason, then, did Anu accept this decision? It came about from the command of his obedient sons. He didn't deliberate the matter. He just ordered a flood and brought the people to sad and starry destruction. He conspired to bring about their pitiless decimation. Now their shining faces will never again see the light." A bunch of your trees are already tipped over. Gosh, I hope it's all okay. I hope that this story isn't actually terribly appropriate. The gods cowered like dogs from the crash of the deluge. The flood surge wreaked havoc, was raging out of control. Anu lost his mind. The gods, his sons, shook around him. Nintu was screaming and wailing like a woman in travail. Would a genuine father have unleashed the wild waters to meet their end, clogging up the river like dragonflies? Their bodies wash upon the banks like overturned boats. They bobble like a raft abandoned in the wilderness. I have seen them there. I have wept over their corpses. Will there be an end to the tears that I shed for them? Nintu wailed and expressed her feelings of grief fully. The gods joined her in weeping for the vanished country. She was overcome with heartache, but could find no beer. The same spot where she wept, so the great gods did too, managing in their speech only the sound of bleating sheep. Parched with thirst, from their lips came only emptiness. For the duration of 7 entire days and 7 nights, whirling water, storm wind, and flood prevailed. And with that, we will pause, and we will resume our story tomorrow. We only have 3 more pages left. Right, so soon we will be done with the story of Atrahasis, and we will move on to something else. Mushroom goat. You have a blockhouse from the 50s. You haven't had a direct hit in 100 years. Ouroboros. I really do like the custom emojis. It does add quite a lot of, at least for me, it adds a lot of value to the stream. I appreciate that every day I get to see those custom emojis. Both of you stay safe. With me? With our hurricane friends? You can sit with me. You can also sit with your hurricane friends. I mean, there's this thing about virtual reality, right? Like, I am so astonished that we are all sitting here together, right? Every one of us connected by this little screen device. Yeah, we are sitting. We are sitting here together. It's true. We're connected in this strange, funny way, right? This is real culture. Real culture. It's not just virtual culture. It's real. Please, take all my energy. Take it and do something good with it. Please. We are connected. We are connected. We're all connected here. Connected here in this place of many places, this meta place, this imaginary place, which is nonetheless real and impacting our lives. Here we are. Here we are. So. Any thoughts on planets in retrograde? See, you're not going to like my thoughts on planets in retrograde. You're not going to like them one bit. I care a great deal about causality, right? And modeling causality in an accurate and functional way, right? It's the scientist in me, I suppose, even though I'm not really much of a scientist, right? I'm in a biology program and I hate it. And I'm writing a thesis about how hypothesis testing and falsification is not necessarily the only way to know things, right? Like, I recognize the need for multiple meaning systems, but at the same time, I cannot accept the premise that the positions of distant celestial bodies in the solar system around me is having a causal impact on my mood or the behaviors of other people. Nor can I accept that the position of those planets when I was emerging from my mother's womb had some causal impact on my personality. Right? Like, I understand that astrology is a meaning system that's very valuable to people, right? There's a lot of richness to it. There's a lot of history. And in fact, many of the stories that I read on this stream show us the kernel of ancient astrology, and we could track how that kernel evolved into the astrological practices that exist in pop culture today. And I think that's fine, right? I think, like, meaning systems give us a language to communicate about ourselves and other people together, right? And communication is good. But no, I do not believe that the planets in retrograde has any impact on my life. I'm sorry to say. I know that's a little disappointing for you. About us and water? That connection? What about water? We're made of water. We're made of water. We're made of light. It's Arati time, right? We're going to say the light prayer now. The light prayer and then the grief prayer. What's this? What's all this stuff? What's crud in here? Boop, boop. Put this back. There we are. Okay. So, Arati means light or flame in Sanskrit. Here we have our light or flame. Yes, we come from water. We are mostly water. The salinity in our blood matches the salinity, on average, of the ocean, right? Because when bodies evolved, they evolved to take the external environment and make it inside, right? So we literally reflect the environment that we came from. This tattoo, it's a pretty good tattoo. Have a great day, salty and sad. I hope the rest of your day is salty and sad. No, maybe I wish it's sweet and happy. I don't know. Have a day that you find meaningful and purposeful, please. Give it your best. And I will try to do that, too. So, the word Arati means flame. Breakfast is ready. it's true. And we're going to say Arati now. And Jai means praise. Jai means Jai in Sanskrit. Dr. Punk, here for the fire times. All right. Let's pray, huh? Jaya Jaya Arati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jaya Arati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jaya Arati Venkantaramana Venkantaramana Sankatarana Sitarama Radhe Shama Jaya Jaya Arati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jaya Arati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jaya Arati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jaya Arati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimutriya Vatara Jaya Jaya Arati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sanistaraya Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sankarachaya Sankarachaya Advaita Gurave Jaya Jaya Arati Sadgurunata Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jaya Arati Vishnudevananda 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 Jaya Jaya Arati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Shriyama Priyaye Jaya Jaya Arati Ayapa Samine Ayapa Samine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jaya Arati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jaya Jaya Arati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nanak Gurave Samastya Gurubho Namaha Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Natatra Suyabati Natandrakaratam Nima Vidyobati Katayamagni Twameva Bantamanabanti Sarvam Tasya Basya Samidam Vivanti Om Gange Kayamane Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Siddhika Veriya Namastitam Namo Namaha Twameva Mata Chapita Twameva Twameva Bandusha Saka Twameva Twameva Vidya Dravinam Twameva Twameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Kayena Vacha Manasendriyarva Buddhyatmanava Prakriti Sabhavad Karomyadyad Mangalam Parasmahi Narayana iti Sarmarpayami Sarvadharmam Parichayam Mekam Saranam Braja Aham Sva Sarvapapayo Mokshayami Masucha. Good morning, Vacha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these, I dedicate to you, to all of you. Thank you all so much for being here and giving me such a rich source of meaning and purpose in my life. I am wordlessly grateful. And now, now we will say Kaddish. So, Kaddish is a prayer of mourning. It's a prayer of grief. And sometimes I wonder if it's appropriate to always end every stream on a note of grief and pain. But I think it is, right? Because to live is to suffer. To have a body, right? Like, to be in this world full of all of this matter and energy, to have an inside and an outside is to open yourself up to suffering and to joy, right? They come hand in hand. And so for me, this prayer is an acknowledgement of that, right? Acknowledgement of the essential pain that is built into the fabric of our lived experience, right? That we must have to continue to be alive. We must recognize the death that is waiting for us on the other side. And so we remind ourselves of those who came before us, those people who are in our lives who no longer are. And we remind ourselves of the past, right? Those people that we were that we no longer are, or the people that we still are that we no longer wish to be, right? It's a prayer of letting go, of release. And the meaning of this prayer, you can look it up, right? I'm sure many of you have. You type in Mourner's Kaddish into Google, you'll get a translation. Translation is interesting because it basically just says, like, God's really great, which I don't think so, right? Like, I think Yahweh definitionally is an asshole. But nonetheless, I say these prayers to him because I have to. Genetically obligated. But the meaning of the prayer can be anything, right? Like, I don't speak Hebrew. Yes, there's a literal rhetorical meaning, there's a historical context, and yet, in this moment, here together, us, right, this group of people, saying these syllables, it means what we collectively decide that it means, right? And even though, certainly as a group of 16 or whatever we are, we have no ability to reach consensus on this is the formal meaning of the prayer, we all have experiences, right? We all experience this prayer in different ways. We find meaning in it in different ways. Dr. Punk! Dr. Punk wants to support the stream. Thank you, Dr. Punk. And that, the totality of all those meanings, all of those different individual meanings, right? The individual experiences that we get from these words, together, we have an emergent meaning that I cannot articulate or describe in any way, or maybe it doesn't exist. But nonetheless, here we are, together, mourning, publicly sharing our grief, reminding ourselves of who came before. And I think that's pretty great. So thank you. Thank you, all of you. For the last 2,500 years, my ancestors have been saying these words in response to death, and we can share them together today. Yid Kadal, Vid Kadash, Shema Rabbah. B'yama divrach yote v'yamlich malchate b'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayedi kol beit Yisrael b'agala v'zman kariv yimru. Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah mevarach li'olam almei almaya yitbarach v'ishtabach v'itba'ar v'irmam v'itnaseh v'itadar v'talei v'talal Shemei dekudesha b'rechu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechimata yamiran b'yama v'yimru. Amen. Yehi Shlamar Rabbah min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav huya aseh shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oh, say shalom b'mamav, huya say shalom aleinu, v'yal chol Yisrael, v'imru, v'imru, amen. And that concludes our morning stream. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here today, for offering your care, your attention. If you would like to support this work that we do here together, a great way to do that is to go check out the link in my bio. You can support this stream on Patreon, or through a one-time tip, or you can do like Dr. Punk just did and subscribe through TikTok so that you can post quotes. Thank you for an amazing morning, Queen. God, such a mixture of emotions, right? Like, every day I do this, am I gonna stream? What a chore. But like, oh wait, it's like the biggest, most consistent source of meaning in your life. Oh, right. Right. Okay. Well, I guess I'll stream again. And then you all show up, and you're all so kind and caring and lovely, and I'm so very grateful. So thank you. And I will see you here again tomorrow. to say these words once more. Until then, I hope you have a lovely day. Farewell.